Hey everybody, welcome to the Dice Tower. My name is Tom Vasel. It is October 24th, 2016. And I'm going to be answering your questions today, or at least some of your questions. Some people were emailing and saying, why is it being held so late at night? Well, partially because today we drove down to the Keys, me and Derek, my video editor, and we recorded a lot of the People's Choice Top 100 videos. So hopefully you will enjoy those later on. And that takes a bit to travel down there and finding spots where there's not people. You know, I don't want to get in the way of other people. So trying not to mess other people's sightseeing up, but at the same time make it look good if possible. So that took a good chunk of the day. And also I just like to have it at different times sometimes because, yes, this is not obviously an optimal time for people in Europe, but it definitely is more optimal for people over in Asia or on that side of the world. So, you know, we'll do what we can. I'm not going to answer every question, but I will answer a lot of them if possible. And I'm going to probably start right now. So if you've already asked a question, my apologies. Probably best if you start and ask them a little bit later. Repeating questions does not work. If I skipped a question, I just skipped it. I apologize. I'm very capricious, I guess, in that fashion. So here, hey Tom, any news or previews at Essen of the Orleans expansion? Well, I actually have it sitting downstairs. I have not played it yet because, well, there's just so much to play after Essen. I just haven't got to that one yet. So I know nothing about it except it's in a thin box. I will try to get to play it as soon as I can, but I'm not making any promises because there's just so much to get played. I did not get a chance to check out the Kung Fu Panda board game. In fact, I talked to them, Modifius, about it for a while, and they told me a little bit about it, which for some reason all that is boring my mind, but I do remember saying, ooh, that sounds exciting, that sounds fun. I really am biased towards the theme, though, for sure. Let's see, how did you and Sam and Z all meet? Well, we usually get together at 9 o'clock in the morning. They show up at my house and they come up here. But if you mean for the first time, real quickly, I met Sam in college. I met Z at the game group. What is the best way for new gamers that struggle learning rules to learn how to play, especially if we have no one to show us? Well, there are videos online that show how to play different games, and more companies are doing that. If you can't find one for the game, sometimes watching a review. I'm not saying my reviews are rules explanations, but they at least can give you kind of a gist of how the game can work. And maybe if you watch something like, not just mine, but other reviewers, and you see the game and then you read the rules after putting the two of them together, that can help. And if worse comes to worse, follow the rules exactly. Set the game up on your own and just walk through it and start playing through it. If there's play examples, play through those examples. And those are things that will hopefully help you get better at it. Have you tried Civilization 6 yet? No. Happily or not happily, they have not released the Mac version yet. And yes, Macs are all I have anymore. So I know that the Mac version, they keep teasing that it can be released at any point. You know, what's the company's name? Asper Media, I believe. All right. Civilization 6 is here for the Mac. Oh, well, we're canceling this Q&A right now, guys. Oh, that's terrible. This is a really bad time of the week. I'm really busy. Oh, well. Well, I will finish the Q&A. I really love Civilization. Can't wait to play it, but if I started playing it now, I would not sleep tonight, and that would be really bad. All right. Were you able to get the Pitch Car Expansion 6 in Essen? I was not. Just through a variety of times when I went by, they sold out. I will get it. That's my biggest disappointment of things I didn't get in Essen. It looks really fun. There's holes in it. Some of the tracks, so like there can be holes that you fall in. I like that. There's half tracks, but what I really like are the tracks with holes in. Also have these little edges, so you can like make a little jump. So you can try to go over that jump or go straight on the track. So maybe the jump will let you skip things. There's like some little cool combos. I especially like the idea to be able to split a track, right? To be able to take a little jump that gets you one spot or go the normal way. Reminds me of miniature golf where they have those really difficult things to go through, but you can try it, maybe make it. So I'm excited about that. I will get it as soon as I possibly can. Wow. Okay. I really appreciate all the questions, and I'm just telling you guys right now, I'm getting so many questions that I'm going to have to just jump around and answer not all of them because it looks like I've gotten hundreds of them. Oh, okay. Well, here we go. I'm going to try to answer these as fast as I can. Blah, 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 blah. Between two cities rating out of 10. I want to say 6 or 6.5, maybe 7. I'm not sure. Can you do a top 10 for games that are still competitive but don't require you to be mean? Yes, although I don't know what the usefulness of that would be. I know what you're trying to say. You want games where you can be competitive, not mean. That would just be a bunch of Euros. I think my top 10 Euros would be that way, but maybe I'm wrong. Did you ever get a silver YouTube play button? Yeah, I do. It's on my wall over there. When you pass 100,000 subscribers, I'm still kind of confused as to why subscribers is the metric everyone cares about. I've never really cared that much about subscribers. It's neat, 100,000 subscribers, but isn't views cooler? I mean, when we broke 2 million views in 1 month, I was like, wow, that's really cool. I don't know. I watch the number of viewers I have. Subscribers are subscribers, but I'm curious how many people watch the videos themselves. Anyway, you get the next platform when you get 1 million subscribers. So I think I calculated it out, and it was like in 20 years or something. Yeah. But I didn't factor in consistent growth. If I factored in consistent growth, I think it was like 10 years. Still quite a while away. I noticed you got a new table this summer. Why the switch? What are the pros and cons of both tables? Well, you can watch them. I did a review of this table. It's called Wrath Scours. And basically I did the switch because the Geek and Sundry table, the Geek Chic table I bought. They gave me a discount on it, a minor discount, but I basically bought that table. This table, I made a deal with them to give it to me in exchange for me advertising for them. And this table is just a much more sturdy table. It has lights in it, has speakers in it. I just like it better than the Geek Chic table. Now I will say, I also really like the Geek and Sun tables too. I like both of those companies over Geek Chic, but I think I like Wrath Scours a little better, and so that's the table I have. Love it. It's a solid solid table. It's a great table. Your Carcassonne shirt, what does the bottom say and where do I get it? Oh, is that the one that says something? It says something like basically the only place that has worse traffic than Miami, or Carcassonne, the only place that has worse traffic than Miami. You can get them customized, say whatever you want on them. How does not doing Kickstarter reviews benefit the Dice Tower in general? Time. Literally, if we did Kickstarter previews, we would not actually review games. I would not be able to take an actual finished game and review it, because if you look at Kickstarter reviews, they are coming out a minimum of one per day. They would all come to us. They come to us now on our website. We say we do not do Kickstarter reviews, and they come to us regardless and ask us anyway. And they take way longer than reviews because you have to suffer through really badly written rules. You have to go through it, and we didn't like doing them also because there was just a lot of different reasons. And so would I like having someone who did Kickstarter previews, or I wouldn't even want Kickstarter previews, I want Kickstarter reviews, someone who says good or bad. And unfortunately, I feel like there's very few even reviewers out there who are afraid to say this is a pile of trash, and that really needs to be said about some Kickstarter games, right? So I would need someone who's willing to say this is garbage, but also someone willing to say this is amazing, right? And that would be so useful, I think, to people. There's a couple problems with that. First of all, we don't have time for that. You say, Tom, hire a new guy to do that. You know, I thought about that. I thought that'd be an interesting thing. Maybe we could hire someone to do that. But then, who would they play these games with? Because I ain't doing it, and Sam and Z aren't going to do it. We don't want to play prototypes all day long. They'd have to find some people to play these with. So I'm kind of at a dead stop at it at this point in time. Do you think Star Wars Destiny will be the one-hit wonder, or do you think it will be the next big thing? It's kind of iffy on that one. I really don't know. I don't know if it will be the next big thing. I honestly don't know. Any thoughts on a new edition of Blood Bowl? I have not. It looks cool, but I've not played it. Will you be reviewing it? Well, Sam will be reviewing it for sure. If I'm involved, I'm not. I don't know yet. Do you have any must-watch movies for Halloween? I'm not a big fan of horror movies at all. I'm not a big fan of horror Horror board games are okay because they're really not that scary. Haunted houses I go to because I kind of like jumping there a little bit, but I'm just not a big fan of horror. I especially hate gore. Hate gore. Um, I don't like bad endings of movies. I like happy endings, and horror movies almost never have a happy ending. Yet you see one person smiling as they walk away, and the house is blowing up, and all their friends just died horrifically. There's been some exceptions to that. I thought The Ring was a pretty good movie, even though it scared the snot out of me. Um, Cabin in the Woods was interesting, but still, that gore fest. Just not a big fan of horror movies. Were there any games that were going to be at Essen that weren't? Oh, yes. Many, many, many games were going to be at Essen that weren't, but I don't know, have a listing of them. I still don't know what games we got at Essen per se because our boxes have not yet shipped from Germany. I'm sure they'll come eventually. Favorite places for gaming in South Florida? Well, Cool Stuff Hollywood is easily my favorite place to game, other than my house. And we also game at the Rock in Kendall. That's every Tuesday night, and everyone's welcome to come to these. Have you given in to Z and played Friday yet? He doesn't try to get me to play it, so no, I have not given in. Do you know who started doing game reviews in front of a wall of board games? Was that you, or was there someone before you? I think it was me. The only person really doing video reviews before me was Scott Nicholson. I don't think he stood in front of a wall of games, but I don't remember. If so, I will gladly give him credit, right? I don't want to take credit for it. But I don't remember people doing it, and I thought, hey, that's a cool backdrop. Now that everyone's doing it, I'm trying to do different things, which again is why I went down to the Keys today to try to get different backdrops. Of course, that comes with other things like highway noise and wind noise and, the sun in your eyes. But it is what it is. What top 10 lists are on the docket for this year? All right. I got no problem spoiling that. Let's see here. I got 2 lists of them. So I'm going to go over the top 10. I have two lists of top 10s. All right. So I have the top 10 for the audio show that me and Eric do, and the top 10s with me and Z. So let's see which one opens first. Okay, me and Eric, we're going to be doing games for a video gamer. We're going to be doing next step games. That's like after someone plays a gateway game, what do you play next? Games no one ever talks about but me. Essential games and best of 2016. So that's what's coming up in the rest of this year. For the me, Sam, and Z, games we really wanted to like but didn't. Disappointing games. That's coming out this Thursday. Then we'll be doing one-hit wonders, where the designer only did that one game. Exceptions to the rule. That's like, I normally hate this style, or I hate this theme, or hate this thing, but this one I liked. Analysis paralysis-inducing games. And then the best of 2016. I'll be doing that on both channels. So those are the different top 10s that will be coming from both sides this week. What's your thoughts on Riot Games branching out to board games? Do you think it's a one-time deal? Well, they said it's a one-time deal. They said that they might visit it further and go farther, and might work on maybe another board game in the future, but they're not turning into a board game company. And they seem pretty honest. They treated me with integrity the whole time I've dealt with them, so I don't see why they would be lying there. Do you think Democker will be reprinted? Possibly, but remember that there's not a huge audience for that game. Hey, Tom, did you try ketchup chips while you were in Canada? I might have had them when I was there. I don't remember now, but I've had ketchup chips. I used to live in Pennsylvania, and we had every flavor of chips in the world there. They're amazing. So are you going to jump on the Cubs bus in the World Series? They do have nice hats. They do? I don't know. I always thought the Cubs hat wasn't that impressive. But, yeah, I'm rooting for the Cubs over the Indians, mostly because the Indians took out my Blue Jays. I was really hoping the Blue Jays would win, because then it would be Cubs versus Blue Jays. And that'd be cool for me and Sam to be going head-to-head in the World Series, because the chance of that happening is, well, about as small as the Cubs getting in the World Series. So I'm happy for Sam. I'm happy for all Cubs fans. And you know what? It would be exciting. It would be like mind-blowing to see Chicago if the Cubs win. Come on. These guys haven't won in a century. Let them have one. I wonder how the Indians fans feel, knowing that pretty much everybody's rooting for the Cubs, right? Except for them. They're like even though they're not, the Cubs aren't the underdogs, they feel like the underdogs, right? They feel like the team to root for. Will the first editions of Dominion be worth more in resale in a few years now that there's a second edition? I don't know. I don't think so. There's several million of them in existence, so probably not. Do you ever play board games outside? I have played board games outside before, but the problem is, especially here in South Florida, we got a pretty strong breeze, so paper, even cards would fly away. Also, we get sunburned. Maybe an inside porch would work well for that. It's also really hot in Florida, too. Not now. It's beautiful now. For the rest of the world, it's all getting cold, but for us, gorgeous right now. When will you broadcast another gaming marathon? Maybe we can vote for a few games we want to see. I don't know. I really, really hate doing them. So I'm not sure. By the way, many questions I skip over because they're asked every single week, and I can't answer the same question every single week, right? So, and I apologize because you may not have been here the previous week, but maybe I'll answer that question in a few more weeks. I just don't want to answer it every single time. What's your feeling about the Bermuda Triangle? Overhyped, intriguing, scary? Does it come into the back of your mind when you go down to the Keys like you just did the film? I don't even know where the Bermuda Triangle is. I know where Bermuda is, but I don't know, like, is driving in the Keys part of the Bermuda Triangle? And if so, I mean, there's people who drive down in there from Homestead every single day. Whatever. No, Keys, every time I drive down there, I think, the food down here is marvelous. The key lime pie is divine. Fantastic place to go. Thoughts on the next Marvel Legendary expansion being Marvel Noir? Let me look that up real quickly because I'm not actually sure what that is. It's 100 new cards, 4 pieces of union. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Play the Marvel Noir story. I haven't really read the Marvel Noir story, so... Oh, yay, look, it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Angel again. I'm less excited about that. So I'll say right now, I'll certainly look at it, but do I need Spider-Man and all these characters again when there's a lot of characters they haven't done and they're noir? I'm still kind of confused by Marvel Legendary's insistence on using these one-shot storylines to make comics from. I mean, the set from when there's big things they could be doing. Like they did the new Secret War that was like that was a big event in comics, but it wasn't like, oh, hey, do you remember this weird character? No one's going to remember that in a few years. Now, why not use a character that's around for years and years and years? But I don't get it. Let's see here. Early word on Conan is there's a lot of rules and translation issues. Do you have any concerns? I have no concerns because I have no expectations or anything. I don't know anything about Conan. I deliberately keep myself in the dark about a lot of Kickstarters. I mean, I think Conan looks cool. I saw the pictures of it, and I've heard some people say they enjoyed playing it, but that's about it that I've heard. So when it comes in, we'll take it at face value. How do you pick the games you review? Well, many companies send us games. And I don't mean that in any kind of small way. I mean that in a large way. We have hundreds of games at any given point that we need to review. So how do I choose how to review them? Well, one possible way would be like when the games come in, put them in a row, and first in, first out. Not happening. It's not fair to the viewer because we would get bogged down into certain games. Some games are harder to get played. So here's what we do. We review the ones we want to. It's not fair, but it's the way it works. So if a hot game comes in, I'm going to review it because I know people are interested in it. If a game I really want to play comes in. Kids games, 2-player games, they're easy for me to turn around and play and try out. So you will see them often get played faster. Shorter games. If a game comes in, it says 3+ hours, I can tell you right now that it's going to be a while before that one gets reviewed because the time really is a factor in there. So But then again, I mean, there's also Sam and Z, so they're grabbing games they find interesting. So between all three of us, we're picking and choosing the different games to play. Any thoughts on the just announced item meeples? Let me see if these are what I was thinking about. Is it one word there? It's like says item meeples. Well, I don't, Google's not pulling it up. But I'm assuming these are from Game One Games. And if they're the same ones, Game One Games, let me go to their website real quickly. This is fascinating to watch me search. Yep, okay, so they are, okay. Yeah, I saw, okay, so they showed them these to me at Essen. Now, you know that Game One, the Tiny Epic series, I still wish it wasn't tiny. But whatever. Some of them I've liked, some of them I haven't liked. But they made those little bullet dice. I love them. These new item meeples I really like. They're basically meeples with holes, and then you can put little weapons in. And it reminded me of the little Lego guys that I had when I was a kid, and you give them swords and shields and stuff. You can give meeples swords and shields. And so I'm really excited about this, that this is part of their Tiny Epic Quest thing. But I said, look, guys, if you sold these separately, people would buy them. I would buy them because I could use, meeples with swords in Carcassonne. Yeah, that's happening. That's really cool. I really like the concept of them a lot. Why has no one in the world reviewed the new Runebound expansions that were released to retail 2 months ago almost? Hey, get on that. I mean, really, if you want something reviewed, you're always welcome to do it. I mean, every reviewer can't review everything. We don't always review expansions for games that we don't have. Like, I liked Runebound. I thought it was a very good game, but I no longer have it. So then to get the expansion would mean I would need to go find the game. Like, on the other hand, I'll review Eldritch Horror expansions because I do have it. So you will see that one come. Wow. Guys, I'm really sorry. There's so many questions, and I'm so far behind. All right, and it just shot me to the bottoms. Rank the Matago Big Box Games, Giants, Cyclades, Kemet, Innis. For me, currently, it's Kemet, Cyclades, Giants, Innis. None of them are bad, but that's my current order. How to get a hold of promos for games. I loved that a winner went to hunt for the promos, but at Essen you didn't have any. Well, I would have had them at Essen, but for crying out loud, they got redirected. I'm not sure where these promos are going to end up eventually. I know we'll have some promos at Board Game Geek Con. There will be some promos. Yeah, it's pretty. If I get promos and you sell them on the website, I will tweet about it. Okay, so follow Dice Tower on Twitter. I will definitely tweet about it. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll definitely do that. We had the Tom Ricks from Arcadia Quest. We put them up, and we did that. We may do this again with other figures and other promos. So that's the best way to find out about them. Honestly, I would never go out of my way to get promos. Just have fun playing the games. If you get a chance to get promos or you want to support Dice Tower, that's fantastic, and we appreciate it. But never feel like you have to have a promo. Now that Summoner Wars is complete, does it change your top 10 commons, champions, and summoners? Yeah, probably, but I don't know that I feel like going back and redoing all them. You mentioned Matago is streamlining and re-releasing Giants. Do you know when this will be out? No, they're still in the design phase of it, so I don't know when it's coming out. Does it bug you when a box says 2 to 4 players, but then you buy it and the rules say play 2-player, you need to play 2 characters each or use a dummy player? Well, I don't mind playing 2 characters each. I know that some people, notably Rado, Richard Ham, he has a big problem with that. In fact, Z in my game group, he also hates that. Me and Sam, we love it. Hey, give me 2 characters. If this one's not doing good, yay, this one is. You know, I've never minded controlling more than one thing. I do hate dummy players. I hate them. So that would annoy me, I guess. Have you played the new Mystical Veil expansion? Yes, my review of that will be going up this week. I liked it. It's basically just more the same. More cards. That's all. Tom, I see that Cool Stuff has a Halloween sale right now. Do you know if they do another one for Black Friday and Cyber Monday? If yes, which one is better? They might, but I don't know which one would be better. And I don't know, why would I tell you which one's better? I mean, I think they want you to buy from both of them, right? Um, have you kept up with Game of Thrones TV show? If yes, what's your thoughts on this past season? Well, I found it fascinating that they finally went past the book, so we're finding things out that we haven't seen before. Um, I'm not a big fan of revenge, really, but in TV shows, maybe it's nice to see a really bad guy get theirs, and a lot of bad people got theirs in this season, so I didn't mind that as much. There was some dramatic and shocking stuff, but that's kind of the final episode really surprised me in many, many ways. I was surprised how many characters were off in it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not loving Game of Thrones. I never have. I like shows with heroes, and Game of Thrones doesn't really have that many heroes. It only has a few. What makes you decide to review an older game like you did with Kerplunk? Well, that's basically because I play games with my family. I was at the store. It was extremely cheap, and I was like, hey, why not? Sometimes that happens. I'll go to Target or Toys R Us. I like to pepper my reviews of, like, for example, this game here is the bottom box of Capital, right? So I'm currently in the middle of reviewing that. You should see this one tomorrow, I think. And so, Capital, that's a hotter game, or one that came out at Essen. And then I'm mixing that with Tower Collapse. I mean, that's just the way it works. I like to mix them in because I think that those are an important deal. Now, I will likely be next year moving the children's reviews or, older children's games to their own separate channel. Still think of a good name for that, like Dice Tower Junior. I don't know if I like that, but something where like parents can just go to that channel. It'll be an easy place to find all our kids' reviews. How often do you have to defend board gaming to family and friends who have no idea, and how do you explain it to them? I just tell people I review board games like some people review movies. And then always the answer is, oh, wow, that must be a fun job. And I'm like, yeah, it really is fun, but it's more work than you think. Oh, no, you just play games all the time. Sure. After a conversation I had with my parents last week, I think I've come to the conclusion that they are never going to fully understand what I do. It is what it is, Why be that way with my kids and not concept? I mean, with my parents, I have to explain to them what Kickstarter is first, and then go into board games. And I don't think they ever understood it, but they accept it. So there's that. What game is to the right of Amun Ray? Where's Amun Ray? Am I looking on the wrong side? Okay, we got Twilight Struggle. That's to the left. To the right is Forenzi. This is an amazing, great tower building game. Definitely check it out. All right. Sorry, I had to block somebody there. All right. Are we still waiting for a definitive X-Men game? Probably. I don't think we've seen a definitive one yet. When will Z and Sam do their top 100s again? What? Z just did his. Give the man a break. Sam's will be coming before the end of the year. What two X-Men powers would you like to have as a superhero or villain? I think, honestly, if you're looking at the X-Men, the answer for both those is the same thing, and that's mind control. Because honestly, with mind control, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what the powers the other people have. And honestly, in the Marvel Universe, mind control is just too powerful. They've upped it. Even in the movies, you see what Professor X can do with it. It's ridiculous. So, how often do you use the cool feature of your table to put the felt surface at the height of the table edges? Sometimes. I got the pieces right here to do it. That's one of my favorite features of the table, actually. Hello, Mariano, who's part of my gaming group. I want to ask you, the day you're in the middle of an adrenaline game, what do you think about Arcadia Quest? Arcadia Quest is an amazing game. It's in my top 10. I love it. Have you ever thought about doing a designer theme segment? Such a thing is coming. Such a thing is coming. Have you heard of any upcoming content for Rum and Bones? My friend is interested in the pirate MOBA theme, but I'm hesitant to recommend it because I'm not sure it's going to be supported. Well, yes, they did a Kickstarter, I think, for Rum and Bones 2. They're like redoing it, but it also have an upgrade pack for all the old stuff, so they're definitely supporting it. I don't know when that's being fulfilled, but it looked pretty cool. Did the designer of One-Upmanship ever respond to my review? He kind of blustered a little bit on his website about it. I think he made fun of it to some degree, or made fun of me. It is what it is. Our board game is more prevalent on the West Coast or the East Coast? Definitely the East Coast of America, I'm assuming you're talking about. And that's the reason's very simple. More people live on the East Coast. So that's that. Let's see. Pirate versus Ninja, which are you and why? I don't think I'm either, but it's very obvious that ninjas would win. And I know this because I read Dr. McNinja, and it's very obvious who wins there. The ninjas beat the pirates. Let's see. What's the best way to get in a pitch cart? So expensive. What set do you get first? How much do you need to have a decent variety in tracks? If you're getting into pitch car, and it's not something you should do lightly because it is expensive to get into, but it's worth it. Promise you that. If I was getting into it, I would buy 2 base sets. You're like, then I would buy I think it's expansion number 2 that has the jump. All right. So 2 base sets plus the jump is great. 1 base set and a jump is fine, but you're not going to be able to make huge tracks. And you want some more straightaways. An alternative thing would be to buy 1 base set, the jump, and then buy the packs of those long tracks, because those things are amazing. I think I have 10 of them now. In fact, I'm doing a men's activity at my church this weekend. I'll be taking pitch car on up and introducing hopefully a whole new crowd of people to the game. Have you played the Deadpool expansion for Legendary? I have not yet. Were you a fan of the show Lost? I was a fan pretty much. I was an on-again and off-again fan. I really loved Lost. The first season was so interesting, exciting, and then they never even explained the main mystery at the very end. I was really annoyed about that. Second season, then they didn't even come back to it. It was really long, but I got into it. Then I think it was the 3rd season when they were stuck in cages and stuff. That was so boring. And I almost fell out. But then the ending of that season was amazing, and so I kept going in and out because it was like really good and then really boring. And I liked the ending of the series. It was, hit emotional and all that, and you felt fuzzy about the characters. But I can't go back and watch any episodes of Lost because it's so frustrating. Because when I was watching it and saying, ooh, I wonder what that is. If I go back and watch these old episodes, now I'll sit there and go, they never explained that. They never explained this. They never explained that. And I really hate that. I know some people say, oh, they shouldn't spell everything out. I really wish they had. Don't tell me that Walt is a really important person and then never tell me why. Don't tell me who these weird other people were on the island as they walked around and the dragon stuff, and then they just turned out to be a group of normal people. Wait, or were there others? Can you explain that, please? I still didn't even know what the island was. It was just a very frustrating series in that regard. There's really cool stuff. Really loved the stories. Liked the flashbacks for a while. They got really old after a while. Loved how interconnected people's lives were. It was a really cool idea, but so unsatisfying for me. To the point where I'm almost afraid to watch any new TV series until I hear from someone, hey, they finished this one up satisfactorily. Do you know why Uwe Rosenberg hasn't yet made a real expansion to Caverna? Because he's not going to. I know this because I asked him very specifically at Essen this year, where's the expansion? He said when he designed it straight up. He never meant for it to be an expansion, and that somebody else had made that. There's like a little expansion in one like Spiel magazine or at BGG or something like that. But there was no other expansions planned for that. He wanted it to be a straight one and done game. There you go. What's your favorite and least favorite fantasy race? Playable race in an RPG, for example, Elf Dwarf. What's your favorite D&D class? How long since you played your last tabletop RPG? Well, it's been a while. My favorite race is always like maybe, I like half races. So I won't mind playing a half orc or like a half elf. Tannis half elf is like my favorite Dragonlance character. I like those half races. If I want to play something interesting and unique, I like some Dragonkin or something like that. I think those are cool, a cool race to be. If there's some sort of cat creature in a game, I'd like to be one of those, I suppose. My least favorite, gnomes maybe? I don't know. They're weak and fragile. I don't want to be weak and fragile. I don't need to be the tank, but I just also don't want to like die when someone looks at me. All right. And wow, there's a lot of you watching. You used to wear glasses, Tom. Will they ever make a comeback? You look so intelligent with them. Well, yeah, but why lie? That I don't think they'll come back. Well, I probably as I get older, I'll get more nearsighted, then I'll need them. I'm sorry that I look less intelligent. Let's see. Have you read the new Flintstones comic series? I didn't know that existed. Okay, what are the best design games that you don't like? Well, Go would be one. I'm not a big fan of Go. I don't like it. That sounds like a good top 10 list. Games I know are good, but I still don't like them. Terra Mystica. I don't know. I don't really. I'm still not convinced Terra Mystica is a good game. But I mean, obviously, I'm in a minority on it. But I don't know. But Go, I know, is a great game, and I don't like it. Do I still like City of Spies, Estoril 1942? Yes, I do. What do you think about Tabletop Season 4? I don't think it's out yet. Is it? If anyone has anything about Kickstarter promos, please email me. You will not get anything if you don't email me. Please. My email is really easy to find, tomvasel@gmail.com or dicestar@gmail.com. But please email me, like stop whatever you're doing and email me right now. Because I'm almost out of many of the promos, and I don't want to gyp anyone on anything. Please, please, please email me. Do not post it in these comments. Do not post it on a forum that I may or may not look at. Do not Facebook me. Email me. Please, 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 please. Because in a few weeks, it's going to be too late. And then I'm going to say, guys, I told you to email me. I've said it in many different places. Please. It's a very... If there's one thing that's sometimes discouraging about Kickstarter, it's that you get everything done and you think it's done, and then someone says, oh, by the way, I never got my stuff. Oh, okay, well, I'll send you your stuff. And then like a week later, someone goes, oh, by the way, I never got my stuff. Okay, all right, we'll send you your stuff. And this happens like for 3-4 months straight. In fact, sometimes I got an email where someone goes, you know, I never got my stuff in 2014. It's too late, you know, it's just too late at this point. So if you don't get your stuff from a Kickstarter, email them about it. I mean, if you email me, I will respond. It might not be that day exactly. It depends on how much emails and where I'm going, but I will respond. How do you feel about gamers who buy games only to leave them sitting on a shelf and shrink wrap, never to be played? I highly disagree with the practice. I don't see why you would buy something and stick it on your shelf and never play with it. If I don't play these games behind me, then it's time for them to leave my collection. I'm surprised to see the games in your right sitting on top of each other rather than sideways. Man, I keep forgetting what's where. Well, these don't really sit sideways. These, I don't know, they're small. I don't want to put these sideways. And these are those long boxes. They don't seem to fit sideways as much. I like them like this. You know, I just put them in whatever way I feel like, the way I like them. Do you feel like a pioneer in your field? No. Did you like your SN Live show? I really enjoyed it. Love the microphone issues, and thanks to Yellow again. Yeah, so I really did like the show. I wish the microphones had worked better. I do not like that only one microphone works at a time. And I don't like that the echo came back. We had a hard time recording that show. However, the content of the show we enjoyed, especially the game show. The game show went over, I thought, like gangbusters. Was a lot of fun, so it was a very entertaining show. Um, what's the best snack to have while gaming? Almonds, maybe? If you were to rate all the paying jobs you've had from least stressful to most stressful, where would heading up the Dice Tower, including convention season and a January Kickstarter, fall? Well, the least stressful jobs I ever had were obviously those menial jobs when I worked at Taco Bell. That wasn't stressful at all. So that would be the least stressful job I've ever had. The most stressful job I ever had was pastor of a church, for sure. Dice Tower can be very stressful at times, but I don't dislike the stress. Yes, the Kickstarter is by far the most stressful part of Dice Tower, by a mile. Conventions are stressful; they're probably the second most. The Kickstarter by far, Dice, because everyone complains, and then because we're trying to get promos from different companies. If a company is late in their promos, and there's like all these balls in the air because we offered so many promos on the Kickstarter. There's a lot of different companies make sure it gets at different spots, and then there's thousands of addresses. And I don't mean to complain. We're very, very thankful that people support us, but there's just a lot of stress that goes with that. But I don't mind. But I am really glad when the Kickstarter is done, which is why, once again, I really want people to email me so I can finish it. I hate the fact that it's October and I'm still dealing with the Kickstarter that happened in January because I am already in full bore working on the next year's Kickstarter. So it's like the Kickstarter stuff never ends. I'll probably have to hire someone at some point just to run the Kickstarter. Why didn't you get behind Z and his medical everyday jobs idea on the podcast when you constantly talk about Flashpoint and make the same argument? There's a very specific reason I did not do that I cannot talk about. Let's just say he hit very close to the nose on that one in a very specific way, in a good way. That's not a bad thing at all. Ask me that question in 6 months. Brent's birthday is also September 8th. Well, congratulations. Any chance you get your kids to pick their top 10 games from the year? I'll probably have Melody do a top 10 games from 2016. She's definitely played enough. I don't know about the other kids. Do I have drink company sponsors? No. I'm definitely not big enough for drinks to sponsor me. I wish they were because these drinks are not that cheap. I drink water a lot anyway. This is Bai. I really am liking Bai. This one's okay. Antioxidant super tea. But their blueberry stuff, love it. Really good. Do you ever check out the gadgets and gizmos at ThinkGeek? Yeah, sometimes I do. But I very rarely buy them because, they're not always practical or useful. Did you find out anything in Essen about future U.S. distribution of Port Royal? I think I did. I know I definitely asked about it. I'll ask again. Do you ever miss some of the old days recording with church equipment and most of your fans knew you from your written reviews? No, I don't miss those days at all. It was fine, but I really like where I'm at now. I like having better equipment. I like doing video better than written reviews by a mile. I miss maybe those days I played fewer different games, played games more often. But no, I don't really miss those. I don't consider them to be the good old days. We just got a container store. Do you have any favorite containers? What would be the next container store purchase for you? I don't know if I've ever gone to a container store and not bought anything. Yeah, there's a lot of containers I like from the container store. Obviously, I like my wall shelf containers that hold things. I like these, although I believe you can buy these at Target and other stores now, so they're not as... although I initially found those at the container store. There's a lot of bins I get at the container stores to hold my HeroScape and things like that. I just use the container store for like stuff in my I don't even use it for just gaming stuff. I use it for like all different areas of my house. Just walk through that store. It's really lovely. Hi, Tom. We usually have similar tastes in games. Can you tell me why you don't like the City of Knights expansion? It's by far my favorite. I guess saying I don't like it is strong. I probably don't like it. Because Settlers of Catan is by nature a quick, simple game of trading, and Cities of Knights transforms it to something that's slow. It has knights in it, but these knights kind of just move around and push around other knights. The city aspect with the flip book is cool, but the whole thing just bogs down, and I don't like the fact that the game bogs down. All the other expansions bog it down a little bit, but not like Cities of Knights does. I'm just not a big fan of it. I apologize. When is the next Dice Tower Essentials release going to be announced? Probably not for a while, but you never know. Well, I don't know. We're still working on the next couple ones that are coming out next year that we've already announced. At what age, Tom, did your girls get their ears pierced? 12? It's 11 or 12. I forget these things, but once I say this is what the age is, they all remember and they remind each other, so they know for sure. There's no hard and fast rule on that at all. I don't really care. I do think it's odd that some people have their babies' ears pierced. I just don't know that I'd want to give a baby access to something that pointy. But whatever, people can do it. That's just the age I picked. It's kind of cool. It gives them something to look forward to when they get to that age. Maybe it was like, what age will I let them get their second piercing? What age do I let them get the nose piercing and all that stuff? That would be different. I don't know. So far, they all seem content with one pair of earrings. No matter how many times I say this, no one will ever get it. How do you feel about Alchemist? It didn't make your top 100 this year. It dropped even out of your top 200. But again, it could drop out of my top 500 and I would still like it. Folks, there are so many good games out there. If I kept my top 1,000, I would have a superb collection. So I still really like the game. I still recommend it. I just only have room for so many games in my collection. I think I should just open up every Q&A and say that, I think. I like having your children's games on the Dice Tower. Please don't have it on another channel. Well, I mean, you could still go watch the other channel, right? I don't think anyone will stop you from doing that. Tom, where do you carefully store your empty expansion boxes once you combine the contents with the base game? Do you make sure to keep the empty expansion boxes organized carefully as well? No, and in fact, I'll say this straight up. I can't imagine why anyone would keep them. It's wasteful. It's really wasteful. The only way you could justify it to me would be saying, I don't really like the game that much, and someday I plan to sell it and the expansion separately. Fine. But if you're going to store the expansion in the base box, why are you keeping that box around? It's a wasteful thing to do. You're sitting with just garbage in your house. The expansion box looks cool. It has beautiful artwork. That's all well and good, but it's just, you're keeping an empty box around. I don't have time for that nonsense. I got a huge house full of families. Those expansion boxes are gone, and I don't feel 1 ounce of sorrow about that. I just don't. I don't understand it. It's like people, they I just don't understand it. I went from the Netherlands to Essen Spiel for the second time and find it annoying that so many games are in German. Why not all in English and German? Well, I might argue that possibly it's because Essen, the city, is in Germany. So I think it's quite fair to find all the games in German. I know that you're probably thinking along the lines of, well, this is an international fair. Yes, but it's in Germany. So I would think I don't have any problem at all with all the games being in German. It seems quite logical. Will your review of Hop be going up tomorrow? No. No. All right, let's go faster here. Can you do a list every year of what games you remove from your collection? No, 1,000 times no. And I'll tell you why. Because if I did such a list, people would sit there and they'd be like, no, you hate that game? No, I just didn't have room for it anymore. Is Is there a list of your current collection? Well, there was on Board Game Geek, but I just don't keep it updated. Every time I add or subtract a game, I don't add or subtract it there. So I probably never, it will never be that current, I guess. In order for a game to be in your top 10, how many times has to be played? 1,372.6. What does it take to get the Dice Tower to come to a local con? Email me and I'll tell you. Do you think Fantasy Business and or Democracy will be reprinted? I don't think so. I like both of them, but they're both very weird, unique games. I like the concept of the games more. Fantasy Business almost feels like it should be part of a bigger game. Democracy is an intriguing game, but I don't know if there's enough game in it to I don't know. I don't know that either one of them are there. I was scared to meet you at Gen Con 2015. Are you approachable to the timid? I hope so. Please come talk to me. Am I sponsored by King of Avalon? I don't even know what that is. Has your channel ever had a copyright takedown notice? I don't think so. We've had copyright claims made on music that we've used on our channel, which sometimes is legitimate. You know, sometimes one of my contributors will use some like Jeopardy music or something and it gets pinged right away. I get pinged sometimes for music that I am allowed to use, and I always dispute those right away, and I usually get them back. But it's not that big of a deal. I've never had a copyright takedown notice. I can't imagine why. If a board game company did a copyright takedown notice, my next video would be, hey guys, such and such a company has served a copyright takedown notice against my videos. I thought I would point that out to you guys. Why would they do that? That just seems like a bad idea from their end. Let's see here. I have a friend who won't try Sheriff of Nottingham because he doesn't think he would like it. Should someone try a game at least once before judging it because they may like it if they play it? No, I don't think so. I think you can judge a game and not play it. What harm is it going to do to you? I mean, if you, your friends, I mean, it's up to you maybe to try to convince him, but if I look at, there's some games I look, I'm like, I'm not going to like that game. I don't need to play that game for me. I mean, I'm a reviewer, so I'm in a slightly different position. I might have to play the game anyway. But if I'm not reviewing games and that game doesn't look fun to me at all, why should I have to play it to see if I like it or not? I don't think you have to do that. All right, well, we'll pause here for a somewhat serious question. A week ago, my 1-month-old baby passed away after very serious surgery for heart defects. I'm wondering how your family has dealt with the grief of losing Jack. How are things now years later? Well, first of all, I'm sorry, a week is not a lot of time. It's now been, 6 years since he was born. He was born, well, this month. Well, actually November, sorry, not this month. It's kind of weird because, when it first happened, there was this constant aura of sadness around me, right? I mean, that's all I thought about. I mean, I would play games, sometimes just take my mind off it, but that's all I thought about. I don't even think about it every day anymore. I mean, I have Jack's pictures up on the wall. There's a couple reasons for that. One is I have another son now, Jimmy. I mean, I concentrate on him. I also have 6 daughters, but the other is just that time heals wounds, right? I don't know how else to explain it other than that. I could probably get worked up about it if I thought about it long enough, but it's over. I'm also a Christian. I believe I'll see my son again. So there's that. But while we're on this subject, please go support the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund auction. This is a good way to help other people out. We want to help other people out. And I'm very fortunate. How could I be really that upset I have so many children. Now, well, people who hate overpopulation probably dislike me for that reason. But I mean, for the most part, though, there are people who can't have kids, and I have 7. How can I be upset that I've lost one, like to the point where I can't do anything else? The pain does go away. It gets easier. Stick with your wife. That's one thing that helped me out a lot. My friends were very encouraging to me, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again. We give Jason a lot of garbage, right? Um, and Jason is a very enthusiastic, sometimes annoying personality to me, but I like having him around. I like hanging out with Jason. I do, right? But I'll tell you what, when my son died, Jason was there. The big giant game group, they didn't know me that well, I guess, at that point in time. But, and the funeral was a quick thing. Sam was there. But Jason came. I barely knew Jason at the time, but he came to the funeral. I remember that. All right? And so things like that you remember. So I think about Jack, especially this time of year, because the Memorial Fund auction is going on. I think about him every once in a while. I got a box. I don't open that box very often because that floods the memories in, where I keep his hat. I keep, like the pajamas he was wearing. I keep the hundreds of letters that we got from people, Christmas cards and stuff. I have all that. And so that's, I don't open that all the time. But it does get better. I'll never forget it, right? That hole will never be completely healed. Probably 20 years later. And I thought about it a lot this year. Or I will think about it because he would be in kindergarten, right? He's not. I don't know. It's just something to think over time. I'm sorry, not trying to bring everybody down. Go support the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund. That is a fantastic thing. There's amazing games there. It's on BoardGameGeek.com. I think we have a link to it from thedicetower.com too. But it does get better. It really will, but it's definitely going to take some time. All right. Uber or no? I really like Uber. I think it's fantastic. When you played the new Dead of Winter, did you throw away those 9 adult-only cards? No, but I did read them all. I was like, I don't have the game anymore. Sam has it, so I don't know what Sam has done with those cards. But I don't know that I would have. It depends on each card was adult in a different way, so I guess it would depend. What Star Wars character would you like to see in their own movie? Oh, that's a good question. Who would I like to see a whole movie about? I love to see movies about the different bounty hunters. I could watch another movie about Rey, I guess. I'm actually really excited. I'm way more excited about the Star Wars movie this year than I was excited about Star Wars Episode 7. I'm even more excited about the new Star Wars movie. Do I play Hearthstone? Yes, I haven't played it for a while, though. I just don't play a lot of iPad games as much. And when I do play them, I often play them on airplanes, and Hearthstone is only playable with an internet connection, so I just don't play it on an airplane either. Are you staying in Florida? Any plans to move in the next 10 years or so? I never make plans that far ahead. I'm staying in Florida for now. I really like it. Is my daughter reading Spider-Gwen? No, but I read Spider-Gwen, so I guess that makes up for that. Did you watch the component drop in Shogun? When Sit Down and Shut Up reviewed it, did you laugh, get angry, or are you guys cool? I don't know what you're talking about, but if they made fun of me, I don't think I would get angry about that. I make fun of people. I guess I should have a thick skin when people make fun of me. What are your thoughts on the trailer for Logan? It seems like a small movie, doesn't it? Right? It feels like it's a movie that's confined to a small space. It's Logan and, Patrick Stewart's in it. That's good enough for me, right? Yeah, I really like him. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of people are asking about the Essen games, like what's the biggest game from Essen? What's the surprise from Essen? Again, it's only been a week and a half out, and we are still playing through all the different games. I'll tell you this, though. This is one you have not heard about, Capital. This is an excellent game. This cover does not look that fantastic, but this is a amazingly good game. Watch my review tomorrow. Really like that one. When doing the Wits and Wagers game show, why don't you use the simplified party rules? Because it's fun to bet money chips. It just is. People really like doing that, so that's why I use those rules. I can see I'm still many, many questions behind. I apologize. And it is 11 o'clock, but I'll just keep going for a while. I got a few things here. Do you do Dice Tower internships? I would consider it, but I don't really know much about having an intern, so I don't. If someone contacted me and was interested in it, I might do it. I don't know. Do you think the Scythe factions are balanced? They seem balanced to me, for sure. Are you planning on picking up Civ 6? Well, yes. What's your favorite path to victory in the Civ games? That's a good question. What is my favorite path to victory? I think my favorite path to victory is, it depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes my favorite path to victory is world domination, okay? But not normally. Launching the spaceship is probably my favorite path. I just like to make this amazing civilization. I like to build like a wall and be like, come at me, bro. I got the line of defense. Bring it. Cultural victory does not upset me either because it just feels good. The Vaseline culture, because I always run the Vaseline Empire and Tomric, Emperor of the Vaseline Emperor. And I always have cities. I have, usually the capital cities either usually Dice Tower or Homestead or Weejumbu where we lived or something like that. And then I have all different cities. And they're usually, it depends what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes they're food cities. I'll have KFC and Burger King, and I have all these food cities. Sometimes they're amusement parks. Sometimes they're the names of all the podcasts on my network. So Secret Cabal will be one of my cities, and Rolling Dice. I have all kinds of weird cities. I might name them after my kids. They love that. I'll have Amyville and Melodyville. I don't know why I always get a kick out of naming the cities. I never choose the names they give me. How depressing is it that they will stop printing Food Chain Magnet? I feel okay about it, I think. Do you watch The Walking Dead? And if so, how would you compare the season opener with other big TV events? Well, I know what happened in the season opener because, well, I'm alive. I was at the store today and a guy was talking to me about it. But I'll tell you what, I had read the Walking Dead comic book series, and when I got to the events that happened in the episode that aired this Sunday, that is when I stopped reading the comic book series. I stopped reading and I said, I'm done. I was already really annoyed at the comic book series by that point, but I was done because there was a lot of likable characters in that series, and you can kill off maybe one of them or so. You kill off a lot of my favorite likable characters, I'm out. What am I watching the series or reading the series for? So, all the groaning and weeping and wailing, I was there years ago, I guess, in the comics. Yeah, this is true. Someone's talking about my taking the children's game, putting them on their channel. Why not put all my stuff on different channels? Well, I don't want to do that necessarily. The only reason I'm spinning kids' channel off is because I think that is an avenue that could really grow if we put more effort into it. Let's see here. Do I feel like the Apple Watch is worth the price? I don't know. People keep asking me this, and I don't know. I like it. The most useful thing for me is when I get a phone call or a text, the watch lets me know. And when I'm in a meeting, I can be like, oh, that's what's going on. And so I like that aspect of it. And I like when I'm driving, it gives me directions. That's very handy. But I don't use it for a whole lot of other stuff. So maybe I'm underutilizing it. Any chance for an Onitama Cards expansion? I don't know if any announcement has been made in this regard, but I think you'll be okay with expansions in the future for Onitama. Do you take part in the BGG Secret Santa? I've helped in the past, and I started the whole thing actually before it moved over to BGG. But I don't need games, so I don't normally participate in it. If there was a hat Secret Santa, I'd be all over that. Speaking of hats, I gotta put my hat back on. I'm not being serious anymore. Who influenced me as a reviewer? Roger Ebert, for sure. Scott Nicholson a little. Nowadays, by far my favorite reviewer is Alan Sepinwall. So those would be the three reviewers I think who have influenced me the most. Why is Jason so good at board games? Well, he's just very good at analyzing them and figuring them out very quickly. Do you think a reviewer can get out of touch with their audience? Movie reviewers seem to have a very different view of movies than the general populace. Just curious as a reviewer, your thoughts. I think that's possible. I think it's harder maybe for a reviewer for that to happen to a reviewer, because when you get with people to play games, you still get a feel of what people like. And if your play group, everyone likes it, and you're like, well, that's not very good, well, then you're out of touch with your game group. I know that maybe some reviewers might play with a very select few people, and they don't go out and play in the public. I know that sounds weird, but I do know a few reviewers who have said that. Like, I don't like to go out and play with people. I just want to play with my own select group of friends. Well, I think they may be out of touch with everybody else. But for the most part, I think reviewers are in touch because they have to play these games with other people. My gaming group is not fluent in English at all, but I really want to play Time Stories. Is Time Stories an experience my group would enjoy? Not if they're not fluent in English. There's way too much text in the cards. There really is. I don't recommend that. Let's see here. Why do you do component drops? I get the whole show, the scale, number of items, things, but really I cringe every time. I can't imagine how much time is spent resorting everything. Well, you know the part where you cringe? That's why I do it. Also, it is a quick way to show all the components of the game, and it also gives me a distinctive thing that no other reviewer is doing, and no other reviewer wants to do it. It does take a while sometimes to clean them up, but I might watch a TV show while I'm doing it, or listen to music while I'm doing it, or talk to someone while I'm doing it, so it's not too bad. Let's see here. Has a stranger sent you a game as a present for your birthday, Christmas, etc.? Yes, that's happened before. It happened more frequently when I used to have a lot of games. I had a whole wish list of games I was interested in, Board Game Geek. I don't think I have any games on my wish list or want list now there, because nowadays it happens occasionally, but not a ton, and I don't necessarily recommend it because I don't really desire more board games. I'm pretty happy with the ones that come in. They're fun to play. I don't need to own board games. I actually get more excited when someone sends me candy or food. It's like, ooh, that's really neat. That's something unique. Like sometimes people send me a hat, and it's like, wow, it's really cool. Now I'm definitely not asking for you all to send me stuff. I'm not at all. Please. I'm just saying that when it has happened in the past, I have always found that to be really cool. My favorite food is taco salad. I don't know why I like it, but I just really love it. There's not a lot of videos or previews for Not Alone. You know anything about that game? I don't know anything about it other than it showed up at my house today. I will take it to the game. I have a game session tomorrow. I will take it there. It will be the first game I play if possible, because there's so much buzz about it. I know nothing else about it, so I will certainly try it out and let you know. Do you watch any of the shows with the Arrowverse? I don't, but my kids do. So I know that they really enjoy it. Let's not argue in the comments, please. um, okay, well, there's a lot of questions here. I apologize again that I'm not answering all of them. Um, I need one more subscribe to my goal. Well, congratulations. It's not going to be me, though. I apologize. I don't know if it's streaming or not any longer. But if I am back, I'm trying to come back. Let me refresh and see if that works. Well, for people and I accidentally unplugged my internet here. So that was totally my fault, and I really apologize about that. All right, so tell people to refresh. So anyhow, so all right, so I might have missed some questions there, so I'm going to go back upwards slowly, and there's all the people yelling about the stream going out. My apologies, that was definitely my fault. How do I decide which games to ship from Essen and those to bring back in your suitcase? We just took a huge pile of them, and I said, all right, guys, what do you want to review? Sam and Z grabbed some. I thought, oh, these are hot games. I just grabbed the games I thought would be the hottest, although some of the games I thought would be the hottest have been shipped back. It's just the way it is. Still not sure where those games are yet, the ones that we shipped. Some of them were shipped over a week ago, but let me see. I'm going to quick check the status of both of them and see where they're at, see if they hit America yet. Nope, still in Germany. So I don't know when we'll get those, but we still have plenty of games to keep us busy for the next weeks. I'm hoping that we get these games before Board Game Geek Con, which is coming in a few weeks, and we're going to be there. Hope to play games with some of you there, so that will be fun. Well, folks, I'm going all the way back down to the bottom, so if you have questions, you'll have to ask them again if you want. What's your favorite non-digital solo board game? I don't think I have one. The only really solo board game I like playing is the Mansions of Madness one. Let's see here. What's my process to learning a new game? I open the rule book and we start playing. Not the best way. Highly don't recommend it. The only way I can pull it off is I have a patient game group and I've read more rule books than most people combined. But that's still not the best way to do it. Let's see here. Do I have all the Smash Up expansions? I do have all the Smash Up expansions, I think. What game got me hooked on board games? Probably Stratego when I was a child. That's the one. Were you aware that there's a Thrifters Guild on Board Game Geek where, among other things, people occasionally post they are looking for empty game boxes? That's fine, but seriously, that's still not a good reason to keep game boxes around the house. I have found that hoarders, and I'm going to say it, hoarders, their thing for having hordes of things is always, well, we might need it someday. I know this because I'm married to a hoarder. And I say, well, we probably won't. So when we throw something away, occasionally I'm wrong. We do need it later on. And then I am told, see, but I'll tell you this, for every one thing that I've gotten rid of and I might need in the future, there are dozens, if not hundreds of ones that we get rid of and we never need them again. Let's see here. What is the best concert you've ever seen? Do you know that I've not been to many concerts ever, live concerts of pretty much anything? So I apologize. I don't have a good answer for that. I guess the best thing I've ever saw was I saw the Marine Band play live, which was a very impressive thing for me. Yeah, I've never really been to any main live concerts. I love music. I just don't know that a live concert's really what I would want to go to. Maybe I would. How do you feel about cursing during a game? I try not to. Any opinion on a Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Oh, I love their Christmas stuff. Love their Christmas stuff. I'm already compiling my Christmas music because I start listening to Christmas music in November, to the chagrin of Sam. He doesn't think you should listen to Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. So when Sam's around, I don't listen to Christmas music. But when he's not around, I listen to it. And I know a lot of people in the world hate Christmas music, but I love it. There's such a huge variety out there. I hunt down unique and interesting Christmas music. I love Dixie-style Christmas music. I love the two pianists whose names I don't have a hard time pronouncing. Ferrante and Teicher, or however you pronounce them. There's just a lot of cool Christmas music, and I'm slowly building up a Spotify playlist of my favorite stuff. I'm very excited about it. Um, Having a 400 games collection but only playing new games, I guess some might qualify you as the hoarder. Well, maybe, but I'm not. I really like Amon Ray. If I feel like I'm not going to be playing this game again, then it's time for me to get rid of it. Um, and yeah, I maybe I do have too many games. Part of that is so I do have that wall backdrop and stuff, but actually part of it is also because these games deaden the sound. It's a free kind of like a wall deadening sound effect thing. But for the most part, I get rid of most of my games. I mean, I already have I think 15 boxes of games that are packed up, and that's from Dice Tower Con until now. 15 games in less than 15 boxes of games, and there will be many, many more boxes. I'm assuming there will be 40 boxes by the time we get to Dice Tower Con. Can I give you my best Christmas music selection someday? Ask me that in a few more, like as we get closer to Christmas, and I'll get my Spotify playlist out and I'll tell you what I have. Um, but I'm not done with it yet. I'm still working on it. And also, my Spotify playlist has some stuff on it that's maybe not my favorite, but I have it because my kids like it or whatever, or just I like that song a lot and I can't find anyone who I really like having it. Um, what was the first game that started your game collection? Well, again, probably Stratego, so no, I don't have it. How many hats would you estimate that you own? And also, why suddenly hats? Your earlier reviews, you wore no hats. Well, that's true. The thing is, when I go out in public, I almost always wear a hat. When I went to conventions, I would wear hats all the time, and people would not recognize me because I never wore hats in the videos. Why? Because I was raised not to wear a hat inside. I did wear ties a lot, but I also lived in a much colder region in Korea than I do now. Ties in Florida are just not the most pleasant thing. I'll wear ties and board game breakfast because I usually record that on Sunday and I'm dressed up for church anyway. And I like ties, but ties, I can't quick change ties as much as I can change a hat. Hats in Florida are very useful. And so I wear hats in my video now. Again, once I'm done recording this, I'll take this hat off because I don't wear hats inside. I was taught not to. I wear them for videos, but also when I go to conventions, I found that the hat's a good way for people to recognize me. But I've always liked wearing them anyway. If I go out of the house without a hat and start driving, I will usually turn around, come back home, and get the hat because I feel like it's like I forgot my shoes or something. Ryan says, got a number one tip for shedding some pounds. Yeah, eat less. I'm not kidding. Well, you know what? I think. Do you predict Pandemic Legacy will replace Pandemic for number one game for People's Choice? Well, I already know the answer to that. Watch the top 100 and you'll see what has shown up where. Okay, so anyway, I think I'm going to end here. I went an extra 19 minutes, and again, I'm sorry about unplugging the internet. A lot of questions. Sorry, I didn't mean to get too serious in the middle there. For that, this happens sometimes, I guess. But I do appreciate you guys watching. I got reviews to do. I'm excited about that. I'll be putting out, I think, I have 12 reviews going up this week. Plus, the People's Choice Top 100 will be starting. We have a top 10 list coming this week. Look back on Wednesday. There's a lot of different things. So I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the Dice Tower. And until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you next time. King of New York, I guess.